Hey guys, how you doing? In this video here tonight, we are going to discuss why are you the only one in your family who's taking care of mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, son, daughter. Maybe there's five siblings, are all 60 years of age or older. Maybe your parents have passed away and one of you was ill to some extent, in only at least four left, right? And out of one out of four is taking care of this one. Why does that happen? I don't know, guys. There's a lot of different reasons for that. Sometimes somebody may not have, and I'm not making excuses for other family members, but sometimes someone in the family may not have the emotional or mental capacity to deal with somebody who needs a caregiver. And that's sad, because if they're in a relationship or they're married in that type of relationship, what happens when their spouse, if their spouse, God forbid, needs help, needs a caretaker? Well, if they don't want to take care of their parent or their grandparent or their sibling, especially their parents, why would they want to take care of anyone else? But they may not have the emotional capacity, the mental capacity. Now, I'm not talking about intellectual capacity. They're intelligent enough to do it. They just can't deal with it. They can't deal with the pressures. There's too much hassle. Or there's a myriad of other reasons. And the lone caregiver becomes very frustrated, right? You say, why am I the only child out of two, even if it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 10? Why are you the only one taking care of mom and dad, grandma, grandpa? You see what I'm saying? It becomes very stressful. And then the caregiver begins to resent the other siblings, because it is a lot of work. And you might be, you might be single, and the other 5 may all have have a spouse and children and dogs and college and things and jobs and all this stuff. You may have a job. You may have a spouse. You may have a house and a kid going to college. But people decide. It's a choice, guys. You decide what you want to do. You decide what, you pick your battles. You pick and choose your battles in life, right? I know you don't like to think that way towards your siblings, but this is the way it is, People pick and choose what they're going to do every day, unless you have severe Down syndrome or something and you don't even know. Not that you don't only know your own name, you don't even know what you are. That's the only excuse there is. But if you're healthy and you work and you're married or single and you have a job and you drive a car and you travel and you have money and you invest and you eat and you know how to take a shower, well, then you're making a conscious choice as to, do I want to contribute to the help of taking care of X, Y, Z, whomever it is. And a lot of people, they go into the nursing home every day, they go to assisted living every day, they go to the hospital every day, and they might sit there with the loved one for hours and hours and hours on end. They might fight and argue with the doctors, and fight and argue with the nurses, and fight and argue with the CNAs, and fight and argue with this one, and fight and argue with that one all day long. But they're there because they love that person. And it's frustrating, because you figure, like, I need some help. I need a reprieve. I need a break. Not that I don't love taking care of mom or grandmom, pop or grandpop or whatever, or my siblings. It's, You need a break. You need a reprieve. You need to be able to rest. You need to be able to just chill out. And sometimes that's not easy. Sometimes many times in many families, there's no one coming to relieve you. There's no reinforcements. You're going it alone. And then you feel bad because the person that you love, that you're a caregiver for, even if they're in the nursing home or the assisted living, you're still a caregiver for them. And you feel badly, and you try to get the grandkids there and the kids there and the cousins there and the friends there and this one there. You try. I feel your pain. I've been there, done it, experienced it. But we have to understand that, maybe people live far away. That's another reason. Maybe people can't afford to come and stop by all the time, And then there's a lot of times, guys, a lot of the reasons is, I'm sorry to say it, but a lot of the reasons is people just don't want to help. They just plain out don't want to help. They don't want to be bothered. They got their own life. Mom and dad took care of you, me when I was a kid. Well, hey, thanks. Hey, thanks a lot. Now I'm going on with my life, And that's the way it is, And that's the way it is with siblings and other relatives and things like that. You might get one, two, maybe some. It's rare when there's some families that actually everybody helps. They take turns, and they take turns. This one goes a couple of nights. This one goes a couple of nights. This one goes a couple of nights. Blah blah blah. This one talks to the doctor. This one talks to the doctor. This one talks to the nurse. Blah 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 blah. And they get things done. But maybe they don't have a way to get there. Maybe they can only call. And a lot of times people don't even call. And you sit there for hours and the phone doesn't ring. And you're like, where's my 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 brothers and sisters or whatever? Or where's, my children? Or where's the grandchildren? Or this one's children? Or that one's grandchildren? I know, guys, it sucks. It's sad. And that's just the way it is, And people say, well, I gotta work. Yeah, well, everybody works. I gotta earn money and pay the bills. Well, everybody earns money and pays the bills, If everybody pitches in a little, everybody can get a rest. And the one in the hospital getting cared for can get a lot more visitors, That's why a lot of people with dementia and Alzheimer's, when they start losing their memory a lot more, because they can't identify certain children because they don't see them. They got one child, maybe 2, that goes to see the parent or the grandparent, and their memory gets fogged because it's like, who are you? Well, I'm your sister, or I'm your daughter, or I'm your son, or I'm your brother. Well, they don't see you that often to jog the memory. To store a little memory clip in their brain, I don't know what to tell you guys. The best thing I can do is try to ask coworkers, if you're friends with somebody, your outside friends, church, if you belong to a church or a group, a hunting group, a fishing group, a running group, a writing group, a singing group, anything. If you have people that that are in the group and you say, hey, is somebody available to just maybe come over a couple of times a month and just visit with my dad or my mom or blah, blah, blah. Because, they're not obligated. Family, might be obligated, but they should be doing it out of love. All those other groups, they don't have to do it out of love because they're really not emotionally attached, emotionally invested. They're not part of the family. I know you get frustrated. The best thing I can do is, walk it off, work out in the gym, say a prayer, Think positive. Whatever might work for you, because if people are not going to show up, they're not going to go. They're not going to show up, and you'll have to do everything by yourself. You know, there are some people who are doctors and lawyers and run their own businesses, and they have time for mom and dad, grandma, grandpa, whoever it is. Is there an excuse? Yeah, there's lots of excuses. But a lot of times it's just people just, your family, my family, whoever it is, simply doesn't want to be involved. They got better things to do. Well, I don't want to see that one laying like that in the hospital. Give me a break. How many of us sit down and watch horror movies and crime movies, and documentaries where we see everything in life? We see it on TV. Why can't we see it in real life? It's people don't want to be there. They don't want to be there. And they don't want to be there with you either when it's your turn. I went all the time with my mother, hours and hours and hours sitting there. No one ever came. Once in a while, some people did, but it's, and I love my family. I love my siblings. Some of my cousins came, and some of my siblings came, and some of my mom's friends came when she was alive. That was good. Some of the church people came. Some other people came. That was all great. But it's really sad when one person or two people out of a big group of people only come by to visit somebody who's in the nursing home, assisted living, hospital. So just remember, when you're in one of those facilities, sadly, and I hope you're not, I hope I'm not, when you can hear crickets, it's because people don't want to come by. They don't want to see you. And that's the truth. And I'm sorry to share that with you. They don't want to visit you or visit her or visit him or visit them. Oh, because they get creeps. They're afraid. They're scared. Family should go visit family. Period. Family should visit family. Now, I'm not talking about if you're dating someone, you're going to get married, you're engaged, but you haven't become a full family yet and stuff like that. I'm talking about mom, dad, and the group of people in there, and grandma, grandpa, and the aunts and the uncles and the cousins and stuff. I'm talking about that type of people, You should go visit. And so you got a really big schedule. Oh, I can only get by like twice a month. Great. How much can you get by? How much can you get by? And some people live far away, and some people live far away and they have illnesses. Some people try to make an attempt. Some people do a video call. Some people do a phone call. But, then a lot of times when the person dies, they feel regret. They feel guilt. Well, I don't feel any guilt over my father or my mother. I wish they were still alive, but you know what? I don't feel any guilt. Why? Because I was there to take care of them. Was it frustrating at times? Sure, but I was there. I did everything you can possibly imagine, except for the medical stuff. I didn't draw blood. I didn't set up a PICC line or something like that. I didn't administer antibiotics, but I helped clean. I helped turn. I helped change sheets. I helped, change and clean and poop and pee. And I did a lot of things, but I'm not a doctor and I'm not a nurse. But I advocated. I advocated to the far reaches of the universe and back. A zillion, quadrillion, zillion, to billion, million, if that's a number, times. And I do it again. So I mean, don't get frustrated, guys. Don't be ripping the hair out of your head. Go to the gym, go for a walk, go to a support group. Support groups are good. They have them all over Facebook. But go in person if you can, wherever you are. Support groups. I'm going to do a video on support groups, okay? But I wanted you all to know, sorry this is just running a little longer, but I wanted you to feel the connection with me, feel the emotion, feel everything that I'm talking about, because it's a real thing. You got to keep yourself busy. You got to take a break. And a lot of times I would call a nursing home or assisted living or the rehabs of house my mom. Oh, she's doing good, she's up talking, blah blah blah. I might not make it there today. Will you mind keep visiting and stuff like that, and tell her I'll be there as soon as I can, blah 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 blah. That's it. I didn't see my mother the last 4 days of her life. One of my other brothers did, but I didn't. But there were times, many times during the time she was in, 6 years, she was in 7 years, whatever, in the facilities. There were times I was there 8-hour days, helping her walk, doing the physical therapy with her, just being there, playing the game, singing there, and her friends too. It doesn't matter whether you're not technically working. Going to visit somebody is work. Cleaning up after them is work. Going to shop for them and bring them stacks and stacks and stacks of supplies and decorating their room, that's work. Helping change your parents, that's work. Feed your parents, that's work. I mean, it's not a regular job where you'd like to be able to get some money for it, but you're doing it from your heart. But that's what it is, guys. A few more minutes and I'll end this video. It's either somebody wants to do it or they don't. Either somebody wants to be with them or they don't. That's it. There's no, they're just too busy. That's sprinkling sugar on it and making it sound pretty when it's really not pretty at all. And you can't hate people, and you can't hold a grudge against them. You can't hold anything against them, because that's who they are. Those are the decisions they made, and that's what it is. It's a decision. It's not just, well, I woke up and it was a bad day and the stars didn't align, and and all these things happened and blah blah blah. No, you made a decision. Every day that I was alive, thank God, for years and years and years, I went to visit my father, I went to visit my mother. I helped my father, I helped my mother. I fed my father, I fed my mother. I clothed my father, I clothed my mother. I changed my father, I cleaned my father. I changed my mother, I cleaned my mother. I helped do her nails. I don't paint my nails, but I did the best I could to help my mom paint her nails, and so did other people. So just go there and do the best you can, because when they eventually pass away, die, however you want to say it, expire, whatever happens, when they leave this physical life, wherever you feel or believe they're going, when they're out of this physical life, you won't have any regrets. You won't have any guilt, because you'll know that you did the best you could. You won't stand condemned. You'll be cleared, because you did what you could. And again, you got to take into consideration, somebody may have a bunch of excuses or a bunch of reasons or a bunch of cop-outs. That's who they are. They're making decisions. If you want to date somebody and they're not calling you and they're not coming over your house or texting you or meeting places, they're making a decision. They don't want to be with you. And that's the same thing when you're a caregiver and you're doing all the work and you're the only one. Keep yourself busy, get into support groups, make friends, ask people to help you, and see how things work out. You're the best person there is. It's the greatest job you'll ever love. Don't feel guilty. Forgive yourself. We all get upset at times. We say things, we swear at our loved ones, blah, blah, blah. They swear at us, and 5 minutes later, we're laughing. Forgive yourself and move on. Well, that's it, guys. I just wanted to share that video with you. Take care.